Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fitness Root Podcast. This is Umang Kochar, your host, and today we have Peeyush Rastogi, a big time fan of Batman, and he's born and raised in Jaipur, Pink City, and we have worked together in AIESEC in Jaipur, where he was president, and I recently joined as a volunteer in AIESEC in Jaipur. So he's very passionate about culture, traveling, and doing different things. So today he wanna talk us about how running is a therapy and how he has gone through running stages and how he has got so many things from running which he wants to share. So, Piyush, thank you so much for coming to our podcast.
Thank you so much, Umang, for having me here. And a big welcome to all of the viewers who are listening to this podcast. I'm really happy to share uh, my journey or my experience about running through Umang's podcast, Fitness Route. It's a great initiative by Umang.
Thank you so much, Piyush. So, tell us something about you, our listeners. What do you do? Yeah.
Okay. Uh, I am, like Umang mentioned, I'm from Jaipur. My name is Peeyush Rastogi. I'm 28 years old, running a company in Jaipur, which is a social enterprise with the name Happy.
Mhm.
It's a brand we formed 5 years ago, which is about making this world a better place through fashion. And this brand I started with another founder, another co-founder of mine. She's a Brazilian and she's a fashion designer by profession. We started this brand with the idea that we want to eradicate or we want to solve the problems that exist because of the fashion industry on our level. We work in Happy as in to help the not just like by making products with the artisans, but also, spreading happiness by sharing the same emotion of the product from the start till the end. In simple words, we are trying through Happy to not just make our customers happy, but making an ecosystem where each stakeholder in Happy is also happy at the same time.
Wow, that's so much of happiness you are trying to spread with your brand, Piyush.
Yeah, yes, that's the whole idea behind it.
Oh, that's a lovely message. So, tell me something about your travel journey also, because I I follow you for the travel thing because somewhere I'm jealous that you have been traveling more than
You don't have to be jealous, you just have to start somewhere. So, it started when I joined AIESEC actually. You were mentioning about the travel journey. So, like this journey only started once I met a lot of people from different part of the world
me.
in AIESEC. So once I started hearing different stories from people from all over the world, like Russia, Brazil, America and Europe countries as well. So I realized that, this life is like, about exploring yourself more than, just making more money and living a life which is in like we talk usually in India, like a life where we have everything in our access and that's it. Like there is not something that you can, set like as a milestone or like a bucket list. So I always, whenever I was in ISEC, I realized that I need to have a travel bucket list. And that's when I started with my first goal, which was to hit 20 countries before the year 2020 ends.
Mhm.
And this is why I started my travel journey. Like I started with Thailand, and once I just started getting addicted to, like I started and I just got addicted to it. Like I want to travel more and more. Like
Yeah.
last uh, couple of years have been really amazing when it comes to the exposure,
Mhm.
because I think what travel can do to you is much better than what you do in your schools even, because you get your hand-on experience on several things like meeting new type of people, new type of culture,
Mm-hmm.
and you also understand a lot about yourself while you're traveling, because you understand that, okay, till what limit I could go when it comes to, spending money or being hungry sometimes because you don't know what to eat in some countries, or you don't know where to go and find the right type of food for you, or you might get robbed sometimes in other countries. So these things, they don't only make you feel good about just visiting beautiful places, but also it is like more of an inner journey. It makes you reflect upon what kind of person you are. And this has something that I really wanted to share. Like when someone asks me about, tell me more about your travel experience, this is something that I always acknowledge, that I think travel is what makes me experience life to the core, being honest.
Yeah, yeah, I can totally relate it, man. When I traveled first time to China, like solo trip, and I could totally relate with you. How does it feel to travel? It's a different zone altogether, right?
Exactly. Like I think, like I mentioned right now, like traveling is one of those experiences that nobody can, just tell someone, like,
Yeah.
you cannot read about travel and be happy. You might like some pictures, and you must be wowed by some of these photos that you see, like those touristic photos, but the real experience is not that visiting those beautiful places only, but also like the whole course of it, like starting from the airport, going through immigration, or like even if you're doing local travel in India itself. It's also, I'm sure, like whenever I went to Kashmir, I
Mm-hmm.
was mind blown with that, because I have never seen so much ice, or like snow in that sense.
Uh-huh.
And then, watching those beautiful sunsets or sunrises, like in the middle of places where nobody knows you, it's like something memorable.
Oh, that's really nice. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Piyush, I have to cut it over here. We are
Yeah.
we are talking about fitness on this podcast. So yeah, tell me how you came into running and what was your motivation behind running?
So, Umang, to start with about my fitness, or about running precisely, since my school time, I was always athlete. I was always an athlete. Like I used to enjoy running like these little, 400 meters, 800 meters relay races
Mm-hmm.
in the school time also. And I used to enjoy them because they used to make me feel more competitive, and it used to give me the joy of, you know, pushing my limits further to win something. And when I came in college, this thing got back. Like I became a little laid back. I stopped running so much, or also like there were no more competitions in the colleges like which I used to join. So I almost gave up. And then when I was like starting Happy and I started working for Happy, I realized that somewhere down the line that running also is not just for making me fit or making me feel good about my body, but it's also about making myself fit mentally as well. Because I think whenever you go through a journey of being an entrepreneur, there are like a lot of lows. In fact, there are more lows than highs. And when you are going through those lows, there needs to be something which keeps you pushing in the right direction. And for me, running has been that thing. Like, I think for me, running has been that type of exercise which makes me rethink really well, and it also gets me my focus well. Like whenever I'm not able to focus, I prefer going for a run, and it helps me to focus and it helps me to sweat out. And if I'm having some frustration in my mind, it clears my mind very well. So that's how my running journey started. Like it started 2 3 years back. I used to run in Jaipur only in the month of September, when it's not too hot in North India.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started picking up, and I realized that this was giving me joy, and I was feeling good about myself. I was becoming more dedicated towards, you know, not just fit, but also towards my work as well because of this. So that's how my running journey started.
Oh, that's really nice. I think it's not just about fitness. You mentioned that mentally also it was helping you out, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
tell me also about your first marathon, half marathon, which you ran. Like, how was it? Because yeah, I've never seen you running, and suddenly I saw your post running half marathon in Jaipur, and I was so happy.
Yeah. So, Umang, I would like to mention something while we are talking. So I have been a very athletic person in general. So I think you can say that it's because of the genes that I've got from my dad. He has also been a sports person. Like he used to swim and he used to play hockey in his college and after college as well.
Mhm.
So I think I got these genes where I have very strong legs. So I used to run, but I'm not a regular runner. So this has been something that I used to face a lot of time because I used to travel, so it used to break my flow. So I was not able to run frequently. But this year, whenever 2020 started, I decided that, I think this year is the year that I really, really want to do some of my half marathons and a full marathon as well. So I came back to India from Brazil in January end, and I already signed up for my first half marathon in on 3rd of Feb. So on this 3rd of Feb, the marathon that happened, unfortunately, I couldn't run into this marathon because I got sick. I got really sick day before that, and it was nothing related to marathon. Like I was having no fear or anything. It was something that like coincidentally happened, or you can say unfortunately happened for me that I got sick just a day before the marathon, half marathon. But then I didn't give up. I decided that okay, maybe I cannot run this one. There is another one coming one week later, so I will join that. Then I started preparing again, like in that particular week.
Mhm.
I started doing my stretching. I was running in these days, but I was not running like long runs.
Okay.
So I started stretching well, and then I realized that, okay, running a marathon is like, I have heard this in several, like the topics that I read about marathon or about the preparation about marathon.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like read this thing which is common among all of these blogs or the articles, that they say that running a marathon is not just about physical fitness, it's also about your mental fitness, how fit you feel mentally, and how strong do you feel about doing it. Like, of course, you need to be physically fit to run any marathon, but if you are physically fit and but you're not mentally fit, you're not going to complete that marathon. You will give up in middle, or you will probably be scared to run it. Then I was also at the same time was preparing myself mentally that, you know what, it doesn't matter if I don't finish it, or if I'm not able to finish it in the time that I'm thinking on. But for me, this marathon has to be there. It has to be mentioned that I am putting this tag on my t-shirt and I'm running this.
Oh, lovely.
And that's the like chills that I was getting the day that the marathon was. I was like not nervous, but I was having that adrenaline rush in myself that, you know what, no matter what happens, if I finish or if I don't finish, I am running this. And I think seeing so many people around you, it kind of automatically gives you that boost that, okay, if these people can do it, I can surely do it. And that's what my experience was like. I ran, and I realized that, you know what, it is very difficult. It is something that takes a lot from you like physically, and also like when your body starts like really straining, it really takes some of your mental stress also. Like, okay, you know what, I don't have to do this. There are like thoughts in your mind that, okay, you know what, I can just walk this last phase, or I can, just stop at some place and then maybe walk a little and then say that, okay, I cannot finish it or something. But then there were people around me that were keep support like that kept supporting me that, okay, you know what, you can finish it. It's okay if you don't finish in the time that you're thinking, but just finish it. And that's kept like kept me going in the run. And when I finished it, I realized that I actually was able to finish it in a very good time,
Oh,
like for my first half marathon. And this was something very, very, very happy moment for me, because finishing my first half marathon as promised by myself to me, it was something like a small accomplishment for 2020 as a year.
oh, lovely. That's really beautiful, man. Like I really loved it. And yes, there are people around who are running with you and they motivate you. I have personally experienced myself also when I was doing my 16K. People are
Yeah.
there and they will motivate you. They'll shout at you, "Come on, man!" Some of them will hold your hand. So it's a different zone altogether.
Exactly. Like I think that unknown person, or that strange person who like that stranger who's running along with you, whenever he shouts that, come on, or you can do this, I don't know, like in that moment you already feel that, okay, you know what, he's right, I actually can do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, Piyush, can would you be like to speak more about how running has really helped you to get mental peace, and how is it a therapy for a person who wants to join running, right?
Yeah, I think from the conversation we had, I particularly want to talk about the mental fitness and running. Like a lot of people, they talk about running and how it helps you to keep your heart healthy and keeps you fit also. But I'm gonna share like how it helps us mentally. So, like I already mentioned in the conversation right now, that whenever I was like going through that entrepreneurship phase, when I was starting to realize that there are so many things that I'm gonna fail at, I think running came as to me like something, as like a friend to me, which kept on saying that, you know what, you are amazing and you can actually do anything in this world. Because whenever you start running, with time, the small accomplishments that you get while running, like running your first 5K or finishing 1 kilometer in the best of your time, these little moments, they keep adding to you as a fuel, like as a personal fuel, that, okay, you know what, I might be bad at 10 things, but this is something that I'm improving at. So it also helps you to change your perspective about a lot of things that are going wrong in your life in those moments. And at the same time, I think uh, biologically saying that, I think running, it produces a lot of amazing cells in our body, which are filled with a lot of oxygen at the time. So it also makes us feel very, very happy at the same time. It releases some kind of chemicals in our body, which makes us like, okay, you know what, I'm ready for the day, or I am ending this day on a high note. So it's the same with me. Like when I started running, I was really pathetic. Like I used to run very slow, and I used to think like, okay, how are people doing it, like 5K in like 2-3 minutes, or like 10-20 minutes or so, like on an average of 1 kilometer in 1 minute or 2 minutes. Then I realized that, okay, you know what, that person has worked hard on it. And the same goes for me. Like, okay, if I want to be successful in my career also, I am not going to only see the results, be it my fitness journey or be it my career journey. So that way, I think being mentally fit is also something that you can achieve through running, because running, like I mentioned, it really helps you to focus your energies well, and declutter your mind from other things while you are running or doing a simple jog in an open place, or even at your house when you're running on the treadmill. I think that also kind of helps you to figure out that, okay, probably there are 10 things that are going, wrong, or running, you're taking a lot of time from you in your head. But when you start running, it automatically solves, or untangles all of those things that are not being solved in your mind.
Yeah, man. I could totally relate it with you because somewhere I also feel that it helps me to clear a lot of my problems internally, which I have, which I cannot share with anyone. So I think by running, I get answers of them also.
Exactly. Like, I think, like, a lot of people, when they start running, I think most of them initially they start just because other people were saying, or they read about someone that, okay, or they don't, like me, I'm not a gym enthusiastic person, so I prefer running over any day going to gym or other type of exercises like weight exercises. But then running is something that, again, like, you don't depend on someone. This is also an important part when it comes to your mental fitness. Whenever you talk about your mental peace, like, you really need some time of yourself, right? So running gives you that time of yourself while you're not staying at one place, and also you can experience a lot of different energies around you while you are running, with like different paces that you are running at, or maybe at the environment that you are running in. Like, sometimes, whenever I was running my first long run in Jaipur, like my first 10K,
Mm-hmm.
I never ran on JLN as a road,
Okay.
which is like a very famous road in Jaipur. So whenever I ran for the first time, I realized, wow, this road has so many beautiful things to see, or just to look around,
Oh, wow.
when it comes to nature, or when it comes to even the monuments that are there. Like some buildings, they just look very different when you're experiencing them while running.
Yes.
So these kind of things, they also help you to understand that, okay, you know what, I need to slow down, but at the same time, I need to see things more and differently. Like, if you're going on that path again and again, but you're going by your vehicle, or in a way that your mind is somewhere else, and you're engaged with some other people, like while talking to your friends or so, it's a very different thing. But when you're running and you visualize these things, or you see these things in front of you, I think it also changes your mood a little. Like, just seeing a dog while you're running, it also can make you happy. Or if you see two kids playing, suddenly that also brings your, happiness quotient up, because, okay, that brings you to the memory of when you were a kid or something. And these things you start acknowledging only when you are spending time with yourself. And this happens to me with while I'm running.
Yes. A few of the things which I also want to say because this is really crazy that we also feel somewhat same. I think everyone feels the same. When you run in the morning, you see milkman, you see the newspaper guy. So usually we don't see those people because they wake up so early, right? So
Exactly.
sometimes it's fun to see them how energetic they are. They wake up every day 4 a.m., 3 a.m. Just to
Yeah.
serve us. So I think it's bring a different joy when you wake up early in the morning, or maybe something
True.
to do in evening. It depends.
Hmm.
It's totally fun. Yeah, you
Yeah.
you take a pause from your life actually.
Yeah, completely. Like, I completely relate with it. Like, that's what I was trying to also say, that there are like small, small little things that you start acknowledging, and eventually all of these things somehow relates to you mentally, because nobody likes, like, okay, for example, if in morning is someone ringing your bell, like the milkman is ringing your bell, you might get unpleasant because of that. But when you're running and you meet that same milkman, I think you will be smiling, and you'll be, happy to see that person. These are two different experiences happening in the morning. So these happens because, okay, one, you woke up early, like you mentioned, like if you're running early and you see the milkman outside, so you woke up early. And two is because you are already in a zone where you are letting things come by you, like in a different perspective. Not like, okay, this person is here to drop the milk. You're seeing him in a very different way in that moment.
Yes, yes, and
Yeah,
we thank him, right? Like
yeah,
maybe we don't say to him, but we in our soul we say, "Wow, he's doing such a good job."
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So, like, just this is just off the track question. Like, a lot of people have said me that I cannot do it, and it's not my cup of tea. I cannot start it. So, what
Mm.
would you like to say about fitness for all? Like,
So, it's a very, very good question. Sometimes even I ask myself, like, some of the things that comes in our fitness journey, it can be difficult, and sometimes you don't even see that it can be happening for you. Like, be it losing weight, or be it gaining muscle, or running your first marathon. There are a lot of hiccups for everyone's fitness journey. But what I have learned in these many years, like while listening to different podcasts about running, or listening to different videos or reading blogs about fitness, is that I think everyone's fitness should not be seen like as in something that to compete with. Like, for example, if Umang is running 10K in 3 months and I'm not, I should not think that, okay, I cannot do this, or this is too difficult for me. Because maybe the kind of effort your body needs is not the same what Umang's body needs. So, same way, I think when it comes to a fitness journey, or when it comes to fitness for all, I would suggest that start with very, very small, or like almost no expectations. Like, you just start, because once you start doing a little by little, I think the joy happens whenever you, like I was mentioning, when you achieve those small, small milestones. Like, you run for 1 kilometer, or you walk for 1 kilometer, and you realize, oh wow, I burned like 220 calories. Then you realize, wow, I never burned 220 calories in these many days, or these many years. So
yeah,
you feel wow about that. And it's not a big number, right?
yes,
So once you start and you realize that, okay, these things can be done slowly and steadily. It's all about, like I always say this, and I myself believe in this, that I think fitness doesn't come from someone else. So, like, no one else can make you fit. You have to give your body some time, and you need to think that, okay, I don't have to set big benchmarks, but I need to start from somewhere. And then it has to start, and then eventually, slowly and steadily, it eventually happens. Like, and it's okay if you sometimes don't achieve the milestones that you're setting. Like, this is something that everyone should understand, that running or being fit is not a competition. So a lot of people think that, okay, in 3 months I need to be having six pack. In 4 months I need to be having like 30 kgs down or 20 kgs down. If you're not able to achieve it, it's fine, but just keep going with the flow. Like, don't give up so early, because fitness is something that is not like you achieve it and then you leave it. Okay, now I have fitness in my life. No.
yeah,
Fitness is something that you build as a habit about your own lifestyle, and it becomes more of your personal thing.
yeah, yeah,
So that is what I believe. Like, I think that is what fitness should mean to everyone. Like, it should be something that makes you feel good about yourself, and it makes you feel connected with your own mind and your physical body.
yes, yes. I could totally agree with you, man. So, thank you, Piyush, so much for coming to our podcast and sharing your journey and how running has been a therapy for you. And for a lot of other people also, I think they could relate that running is really special. And if you are not able to run, or you are not able to start it, just start by walk. Even walk can do miracles. It can change, right?
Yeah, yeah, I totally, totally agree with what Umang said. Just start with a walk and don't set big expectations from yourself. Take as long as you want to, just start. But, and once you start, like, just be at it. Like, whatever makes you happy, do that thing to make you happy. but keep going on to it.
Yes. So, listeners, I will be sharing his website on which he's working happy. Please go through it and see what wonder he's doing. He's doing fabulous job in terms of social as well as into entrepreneurship, and he's a very, very, very well traveler guy. Please, like, tell us something about Brazil, man. Like, you have been to Brazil. You want to share something about them?
Yeah, I now that you mentioned, I would love to share. Like, I think Brazil, for obvious reasons, it's like my second home now, because my fiance, she's from Brazil as well. But otherwise, I still like I would like to. If someone tells me that how is Brazil, it's completely opposite of what people think of Brazil as. Like in India, a lot of people think that it's a country where there is a lot of drug mafia and like a lot of killing and robberies happening there all the time and their economy is collapsing. But Brazil is much more than this. There are like, I think whenever you travel outside and you see that you are welcomed in that country, that is what Brazil is. Brazil is a country which welcomes every type of people, any ethnicity, any age group, or any race that you're coming from, because it's a very open culture country. And when you talk about the places, oh my God, Brazil has so many beautiful places. Like a lot of people might know it, but to just tell you, the Amazon forest, one of the biggest rainforest in the world, is having a major part of it in Brazil.
Oh,
And whenever I went to that forest, I was mesmerized for my life. Like, I don't think so like a wild experience like going to these forests can anything compare to it. Like it's something very magical when you just hear the sound of nature, like the rain falling, and the different types of animals inside, like the birds you see, and you realize, wow, this planet is really beautiful. And Brazil is one of those countries which makes you very close to nature. Like, not telling about the bigger cities, I'm talking about the cities which are small.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. I really loved your photos, so that's why I was not able to stop myself talking about Brazil. So, thank you so much, Piyush, for sharing your journey. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for Umang for having me, and I'm glad that you asked me for this. I think running and like this mental therapy that we were talking about, it's a very very important thing that a lot of us in the times today they miss out on, or they don't think about it too much. They think it like, okay, running makes me fit and it is a good aerobic exercise, but not running is not just that. So it was really nice talking to you about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your message.
Okay, man.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye.
Yes.